Hello and welcome to episode 538 of the Awesome Comics Podcast, the place where the small press makes one hell of a big noise. My name is Vince Hunt, and joining me as always is the artist and creator of the epic webcomic series Vanguard, Dan Butcher.
Hello.
And ground control to Major Tony Esmond, who's calling in not from space, but it looks like he's calling in from the sun as we're looking on this Zoom call.
I keep close the curtains because it's getting worse.
Yeah,
but
he's in a hotel room.
View.
Yeah, the hotel room listeners. That you don't want to see what we can see. It's just an absolute disaster zone behind him.
That's seen some action. Look behind me. Look at that bed.
No, he's not in the bathroom.
I'm in the bath. One day I'm going to call him from the bath. I think you look.
We get that bit from the end of Superman where like Superman's in front of the light and Lex Luthor's there and he keeps on moving his head and the sun's blasting him in the face.
Yeah,
that's what we get from Tony.
J.J. Abrams film.
Yes.
But Tony, you're with us for a little bit, and this amazing interview you're about to listen to first.
So I popped in. I'm not going to be here for the recommendations, guys, but I just wanted to come in and say hello. But we've got a really lovely interview, not down to us, down to the guest, to be fair. But so I had to come in for that because he's a good guy. But I'm in Baltimore, so I'm about to literally walk out of here and go meet Cliff in the convention centre. But I won't.
Brilliant.
And you're there for Baltimore Comic Con. Just to be clear,
so
if you're listening to
you're going to do the big rundown on the next show.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Genuinely, some of the nicest people. So I'll give you a little taste of that next week. But I just want to say while I'm on, thanks to Cliff, aka Keith, Strotty, the Liskers, Alan, Ben, and Bruce.
Legends.
Met all three of them.
Yeah.
Jason and Dap from EOC and a host of other people. It's just been the loveliest walking around the convention.
I have seen online. There's quite a few people sporting Awesome Comics Podcast merchandise.
Yes, your design has made it over here.
There's some shirts flying about, which is nice to see.
I'm flying back through Washington wearing one tomorrow. So
nice.
Yeah.
We can't wait to hear all about it.
Hear the war stories.
Yeah, I mean,
it's been hilarious. It's been really lovely. Yeah.
But Tony, obviously, how are you doing though? Is this the last day of the con before we?
Yes, this is the Sunday. It's I think 10 to 5, so it closes slightly earlier today. But obviously the last hour is the good shopping hour. For like the reduced stuff.
And this was is it a Friday, Saturday, Sunday con? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's half down Friday, so it's 12.
And you did the Friday as well.
I did all three, man.
Right. Okay.
And I still haven't seen everyone.
So the big question is,
it's huge.
How knackered are you?
Yeah. Absolutely knackered with the time difference as well. I keep going to the IHOP, which is like this dodgy diner next to the hotel. And Alan Lister's going, "What the fuck are you going there for?"
Right.
I went in there yesterday morning. And one of the waitresses was fighting with a homeless bloke in the doorway.
Brilliant.
Baltimore is everything you think it may be. I'll be honest with you.
Okay. Is it East Coast? Is it East Coast Baltimore?
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, just below Washington.
Cool. Yeah. We will get. Don't worry, listeners. We will get all of that and more.
Yes.
Next week in
the field report from Tony.
Yeah. In our Halloween special next week, we'll be talking a bit of horror, and there's something particularly that you lovely people want to check out, and that is it's a book we talked about, isn't it, recently?
Raved about. It's a brilliant book.
Amazing anthology called Black Forests. And we had a chance to speak to the wonderful Peter Hogan about all that and more. And
I was sitting here in a warm glow as he talked about Resident Alien. Wait till you get to that bit of the interview.
It could be that sunlight coming in through the window, though, Tony, that's heating your back.
It's like I've got like a halo, isn't it? That's
it's very saint-like.
Yeah.
I've got the air conditioning turned up really. I'm fucking freezing, but you think it'd be boiling, right?
Oh dear. Anyway, enough of us larking about. You want to hear about some comics? So here we go. Okay, the scary season is upon us. We haven't done a month of Halloween this year, but
no, not this year.
Yeah, anyone listening will know we love.
We forgot.
Well, and we got busy. But we do love supernatural and horror comics, and a great new anthology of suspense and supernatural is out now and shocking readers everywhere. That is Peter Hogan's Black Forests. And who better to talk about it than the man himself? Welcome to the show, Peter Hogan.
Hello, hello.
You're up here.
Hi.
Now, thank you for joining us. I know yesterday, I believe you had a signing. As we're recording this on a Sunday, yesterday, did you have a signing, I believe, for this?
We had a signing at Gosh. Yeah, it was me and two of the artists, Glen, Fabry and Mark Stafford.
Amazing.
Cool.
Oh, I love their work. I mean,
Yeah,
we're both fans, both of
yeah,
them.
yeah. And both.
That's my local shop, actually. I wish I'd been there, but I'm away in America. But I'd have definitely been there. Yeah, it's a good place to do a signing, actually.
Yeah.
And two particularly good artists to do like creepy stories, such a visual style. And some people may know your name from your other work, and we'll probably get into that. But Black Forest itself, what inspired this new anthology? How did it come to be?
It came to be because Shane Chebsey of Scratch Comics asked me to do a short horror story for an anthology that he was putting together, and this is quite a long time ago. And various things happened, and the anthology just didn't happen for various reasons.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I just kept having ideas for horror stories. So in the end, I said to Shane, "Look, why don't we take the best of those? Grab some of the good artists that you've got up your sleeve, and put together a collection of half a dozen things." So that was it, really. I mean, it took a while to do because writing half a dozen horror stories is not as easy as it sounds. But we got there in the end, and ended up with, I think, a really good selection of artists.
Oh yes,
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it's great.
In terms of anthologies, it's an absolutely killer-looking book.
Yes,
Like
Well, partly that's down to the fact that my brother-in-law is Ryan Hughes. And so I said to Ryan, "Can you do us a logo?" Which he very sweetly agreed to do. And then he basically said, "Get out of my way," and designed the whole thing. So,
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's so strong. The design elements. I mean, that cover absolutely pops out on the shelves.
Yeah,
there's a photo of it yesterday.
There's something about like a designer in general, but like a comic designer, that there's part of your brain, because some of us are designers here. It's like, just give it here. I'll make it all look together, rather than doing one piece, because you don't want to do one piece and then look at the rest of it and it's slightly off. To have the whole thing sort of come together is just
yes. But a lot of people are kind of clueless in that regard. But, But Ryan does it. It's kind of an act of love. I mean, he's always loved comics, so
Fantastic.
I was going to ask you a question about calling it your name. So it's Peter Hogan's Black Forest, isn't it? I just wondered. I mean, obviously you're the writer of everything, but is there a particular reason? Are you going to do another one, for example? Is that why it's kind of done that way?
Well, it wasn't my idea. I'm not that big an egomaniac. But since I am the only writer, and it is kind of baby, it was suggested that made sense, so I went along with it.
Gives it sort of brand, I guess. Yeah.
Yes. And are we going to do another one? We're still kind of seeing how it goes, but in theory, yes. I mean, if it does all right, then we'll do another one and then put it all together as a book.
At the moment, you've got like the current sort of afterglow of the book being out, and it was an enjoyable experience making the book, I guess.
It was, yeah. We had a few ups and downs. We had artists dropping out and people being ill and all kinds of things, but that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
As for Afterglow, I mean, it's weird because there's hardly any reviews out in the world because the climate has changed and there just aren't review sites.
Yeah.
So I actually haven't come across that many people that have read it.
And we've said before, like sometimes when you think, oh, this is a review, and someone has copied and pasted someone's PR bit.
Just all the Kickstarter or something, isn't it? Sometimes, yeah.
Just the press release, and they've dumped whatever pictures you've sent along. I've heard that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that about.
Yeah. I mean, we've spoken about the book on the show, like cover to cover. It's just absolutely stellar stuff.
It's interesting. So with this, the kind of the different stories you had lined up for the other anthology, and you thought, well, actually, we can do this on our own. Did you think, right, we got to hit different notes? There's got to be some that got to be chilling, some that got to be quite dark, others that's got like a humorous aspect. Did you approach it in that method, or is it just you picked the cream of the crop?
They're very different, aren't they?
Yeah.
things change in the telling. I mean, when I discovered a few things in the process of doing this. One of them is that if you're doing half a dozen short stories, then they tend to kind of cross-pollinate a bit.
Okay.
You think your story is finished and you move on to the next one, and then you get more ideas for the first one.
Oh, interesting.
But yes, the idea of doing a range, kind of made sense to me. It's like, you do a couple of sort of vaguely humorous ones and you think, oh, I better get serious. And similarly, we've got a range of artists, so
yeah,
there's quite a few different styles in there.
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting because we were chatting before you came on, Pete, and we were saying normally when we get an anthology, we kind of agree on what are the strong ones,
the standout one.
Yeah. But we've all got different favourites on this.
Yeah.
It's weird, which is quite unusual for us because we tend to sort of, we all sort of tend to merge into one big brain when we talk about this stuff. But and I noticed that you use, folk horror appears as well, which I know is quite cool at the moment. It's got a bit of a resurgence, folk horror. Was that an intention to sort of hit that genre as well, that subgenre, I guess?
Well, I think for me, all of this stuff was an experiment because I've always had a slight problem with horror because, I think, for me, horror means supernatural horror, basically. Because a guy with a knife is just a guy with a knife,
It's like that thriller,
cross between thriller, horror. Yeah,
that's right. So, but once you start talking about the supernatural, the problem that I had is that I either don't believe in it, or else I do believe in it, like ghosts, but I'm not scared of it. So for me, the whole thing was just finding ways to do it, or finding new strains of horror. And I think it's a general problem with the genre. And if you look at the most interesting stuff that's come out in movies over the last 10, 20 years, they've been facing the same kind of problem. And the things that really stand out are the things where they're either sort of setting up their own rules, and at which point early on in the movie they go, well, these are the rules, this is what's going to happen, like It Follows, which is a ludicrous premise, but it really works. I'd be interested to see what the sequel's like. So you've got that, and then you've got something like Midsommar, which is it's very much folk horror, but it kind of takes a step beyond that, because once you start thinking about what's going on and what these people have been doing, it's real kind of like, whoa, this is a whole society that's doing this, which is genuinely spooky.
Yeah,
that's the paranoia we've all got, isn't it? That's everyone's against us. Everyone knows.
I think one of the lifebloods of good horror, or personally for me, is when it gets you still talking about it and still questioning it afterwards. I mean, case in point, like you just said, It Follows, enjoyable movie. But people keep the discussion, how would I get away from it? How would I do this? How would I do... And Midsommar does a different thing because people are exploring, well, that was a bit weird. Why were they doing that? There's lots... If a horror ends and no one asks anything or thinks about it in any way, it's kind of failed, isn't it? So
I wouldn't do that is always the phrase, I think. I wouldn't go in that crypt. I wouldn't walk down those stairs. This sort of thing.
So did you think about, with your stories... Because it's interesting, isn't it, to have an end point almost with a silent question mark. There's almost like, right, here the story is the end, but how am I going to get people to think about this afterwards? Was that something when you were writing these, like, how am I going to get people to think more about it?
Engage with it afterwards.
I think there's a couple of those stories where that's definitely the case. Beyond that, they are a mixture, and some of them are just kind of, you take it, it's the thing is, it's very easy to write stuff that's macabre, and if you look at the history of horror comics, that's what a lot of it is. But writing something that's genuinely scary, that's really difficult, and I hope I've pulled it off with a couple of those.
Definitely,
especially in comics, I guess, as well, when it's a mix of like a visual medium and just prose. You know, so you are seeing something. It's not with a novel. I mean, there's many people who've been scared by these scary books because we're envisioning the things that it's saying. Yeah. Whereas a comic is like, well, here's the words, and also here's what it is.
Yeah.
So it's an extra puzzle that you've got to sort of overcome.
Well, there is, and and historically, in cinema as well. I mean, the things that fail are the ones that break the cardinal rule, which is don't show the monster.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's in your head, it's much scarier.
Yeah.
When Dan brought it to the show to recommend a few weeks ago, we had a big discussion on people who are prepared to go there with horror, and there's a couple of moments. I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a couple of moments in there where we all discussed it and we went, well, he went there, and we very much enjoyed it, but the Scarecrow one, man, you go there.
Yeah.
That made us laugh on here, dear me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Also, there's things that seem to be about one thing that are actually about another.
Very much so, man. That's how I felt about that one. Totally. Yeah. Did you want to talk a little bit about that story? What you mean by that?
Well, that kind of it's one of those things where, for me, writing is a very intuitive thing, and as you probably know, I collaborated closely with Alan Moore for a couple of years, and and I learned a lot of lessons in the process. One of the things with Alan is he's a great believer in serendipity, so if he stumbles across something in the process of writing, whereas I or anybody else might think, oh, that's a good idea, I'll make a note of that and use it someday. Alan will use it now, whether it's the story or not, he'll just jam it in there. And so there's an element of that in writing, I think. I mean, as an example, I had vaguely been thinking about doing a story about a sort of horrible gnome. So I was thinking about sort of horrible gnome kind of names, like Rumpelstiltskin. And I came up with Turnip Top. And the minute I thought that, I remembered seeing photos of like jack-o'-lanterns that were turnip heads. And they're fucking terrifying. They really are.
Yeah.
And so the rest of the story basically flowed from that, because I suddenly thought, this isn't a gnome story. This is something else, and then it just grew.
Those sort of things like that.
A lot of storytelling for me is just organic. The whole of Resident Alien was just organic. It wasn't a big plan. It just grew.
Yeah.
So is that is that part of your writing process? So you have like the seed of the idea. Going into it, and so how do you sort of? I guess it's different with a longer form story than a short, because there is a kind of different method of thinking. Yeah. But how do you go into? What is your process for writing?
My process is basically I go for a walk, and most of this stuff, most of my writing is, and I think this might stem back to. Becoming a father and just having to, leave the house and push a child all over creation in a buggy. And so there's not much you can do. You don't get a lot of doing time. You get a lot of thinking time. And that's kind of stayed with me to this day, is that, I'll go to the shops or, somewhere else, a couple of mile walk, and I won't see a bloody thing on the way because I'm in my head, writing the story. And then when I come to sit down and type, it comes quite quickly. But it's very rare for something to come all at once. So you get bits of it, and then it builds, and you throw stuff away, and you put in new stuff, and and very often, it's as big a surprise to me as it is to anybody else.
It's what Pat Mills calls the looking out the window time.
Yeah,
I guess it's your walking time in a way.
Yeah.
We've discussed that, haven't we?
Yeah,
Tony?
we talk about that a lot.
Sending messages home to like an email, put it on a document where you think of it, so you can
Otherwise
write it into the script later.
Yeah.
I know. I'm real old school. I mean, most of it is just in my head. But if there's a line of dialogue or something that I think, really got to make a note of that in case I forget it. I'll just write it down in the notebook that sits in my back pocket all the time.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Nice.
I know the feeling, man. Yeah, I did want to ask you about the first story, which is the interview one.
Yeah.
That of everything was my favorite, I think, of the comic, and because it stayed with me, because what you've managed to do there is you've managed to tell a sort of quirky, almost Vertigo-esque, I guess because of Glen Fabry, sort of horror story, but you've inserted into it some other layers. You've got the male suicide layer, which obviously is a massive problem at the moment, and you've stuck that in as part of it, but it's not done crassly in any way. It's I can see the thought. There's a line in it where he says it's not as easy as you think, or something. Where he says, because I kept hitting the building as I fell down, with the guy sort of jumped off the top of the building. And really great, man, really good. Is that something you would expand? Because that, for me, had legs to be something much bigger.
Well, it was really. I was thinking about. Well, I've got to do a ghost story, and I was thinking about ghosts and. One of the things that seems to be kind of a common idea once you start researching this stuff is the idea of suicide. It's like these guys have left the shop early without spending their money, and they're stuck. They're literally stuck. And then you think about. The getting hurt on the way down was something I read a long time ago about, if you jump off a building, you think, well, that's quite a clean, quick way to go. It's like, no, you're going to get blown against the building and break every bone in your body on the way down.
Yeah, so he says it really hurt going down.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to do a ghost story that actually wasn't scary, that was more thoughtful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
really,
I don't know if you could push that into anything longer, simply because I think I've said it all, really.
Okay. It's just because at the end, the interviewer, she says next, and you've got that sort of audience of people waiting in a line to come and be interviewed. And it's a lovely setup. It's something I feel like it's something you could explore different personalities.
Yeah. No, you could.
Yeah.
But I guess that means it's absolutely hit its point, isn't it? Because you want to see more.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting idea. Let's see more of it.
Let's not flog a dead horse. But I know what you mean. Yeah.
But it's interesting you say I wanted to get a ghost story in there, or a tale of that.
Yeah, that's interesting when you said that.
But so before, because you said you had a lot of horror stories, were there any sort of right, I need to get a monster, I need to get a ghost, I need to get. Did you have sort of tent poles in order to aim for throughout?
I don't know. I think because it grew organically. I think once I got a couple under my belt, I thought, well, I've got to change tack and do something else. First one I wrote was Sweethearts, which is kind of like a dark fairy tale.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, okay, that proves you can do dark fairy tales, and so I probably wrote the Red Riding Hood one in the wake of that.
Yeah.
And then thought, well, I don't want to do the whole thing on these lines, so now I need to come up with it is.
Yeah. Sweethearts, of course, by one of, for me, undersung David Hitchcock as an artist in the UK.
Yeah, no, he did lovely work.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
He's big friends with Shane, I think, isn't he? They're quite close. They've done a few things recently.
Yes,
yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So just to give a shout out to the rest of the creative team. So we've got the interview, art by Glen Fabry, colour art by Matt Soffe, letters by Robin Jones.
Matt Soffe did me he's the guy. Do you remember he did me that brilliant Scanners commission? Do you remember years ago?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
He's great. Yeah.
Sweethearts, the second tale, is art and colours by David Hitchcock. Rob Jones on letters again. Our Lady of the Rats. That's art, colour and letters by Mark Stafford, with assist by Rob Jones. Turnip Top, just saying it, I'm not going to look at that name the right way now I think of a gnome. That's art by Rapha Labosco, just an artist I've been following for years. Brilliant. Colours by Matt Soffe, letters by Robin Jones. The Revolution Will Not Be Downloaded, that's Peter Hogan and Jimmy Broxton, as it says here. And Grandmother's House, which is art, colours and letters by Steve Parkhouse. Now,
you've worked with him before.
Oh yeah, many times.
Just a little bit. So, did you have like more? Every one of these is a different flavour, different style.
Yeah.
Whether it be folklore or fairy tale or real life and
Yeah.
things like that. Was it a case of you said you had a lot of horror ideas? Was it like you hear of an album? Oh, we had 20 songs and we cut it down to 10. Did you have a lot of stories and then kind of have to narrow it down?
Well, a lot. I suppose I probably started, 10 or 11 stories, but some of them didn't work out. Get a couple of pages into it and just think, yeah, this isn't working.
Okay,
fair enough.
So
you got to be ruthless like that, then, yeah.
Or they changed tack completely. Like I say, sort of Turnip Top became a completely different story once I'd thought of the title.
You got to do an evil gnome one though, Pete. I've got to see that from you. That's got to come. You and Parkhouse on that would be brilliant. I'd love that. Yeah.
Okay, maybe next time.
Talking about Turnip Top, I kind of got the whole stepfather sort of metaphor, kind of another male stepping into like a household and becoming like an awful sort of tyrannical figure who kind of preys on
them. Yeah,
and then suddenly when the kid's coming of age, turning the attention on the kid, and it's like, oh man, it's fucking really a lot of sinister on that one. It was a great story, and the fact that kind of the Turnip Top character is very impassive, and you don't actually see it doing things. Like, is it actually doing what it's doing, or is it the mother kind of projecting that on? Do you know what I mean?
So weird.
Yes, I mean
that's a weird question, Dan. I'm weirded by that question.
He just wants to know whether he was right to think the things that he thought when he was reading.
No.
Sorry, Pete, I interrupted you.
Have you found though with some stories, like people? I mean, we could, say, "Oh, I love how this was a take on this, or this was a metaphor for that." Are there some stories in there that people will find meaning to that you just thought it's just a very simple?
You give AI a massive.
I think that's always the case.
Yeah.
People will see things that you didn't intend, but that's fine. That's that's their interpretation.
Yeah, and that's like
you do give AI. Sorry, you do give AI a big kick in, which we did giggle over in it as well.
But on one level, it's just a story about paranoia,
Okay.
And the other thing is that yes, AI is the monster of the day, but it's the real problem with AI is fucking billionaires. People that would rather do something that's very eco-unfriendly and very expensive. They'd rather do that than pay an artist a living wage. And you just think, they're the monsters, not the thing itself. The thing itself is just a tool.
Yeah.
But I was sort of
for the purposes of the story, let's have a bit of paranoia,
Yeah, you won't get a disagreement out of us. Yeah.
There was an artist online complaining that someone had used his prompt from going from day to night, saying, I kind of come up with this. And it's like, you're generating AI art. None of this is yours. It's all kind of been referenced some other stuff. So it's trying to copyright a prompt saying the idea of an image going from day to night. That's all me. You're having a laugh.
It's like copyrighting a search term. That's nonsense.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's basically why you've got to be firm here. You just got to build a wall and just say you're not coming through.
Yeah.
Whether it's Hollywood or the comics industry or whoever, just cut it off at source.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you are an artist, you can use AI the way that you'd use, any other artistic tool. But that kind of presupposes that you're an artist in the first place. I think people who just want to, start doing prompts and going, "I'm an artist," it's like, no, you're not, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit different, isn't it? Because if some people say, I'm not an astronaut, but I'm going to fly off in a rocket, they'll probably explode and then die. But anyone can be an artist. Anyway, which of the stories was the most difficult for you to write?
I don't. Well, I guess Turnip Top slightly gave me the creeps.
Okay.
And and I mean they're all difficult in a way, but that's just again, that's the nature of art. If it doesn't hurt, it's not it's not really
Yeah.
doing its job.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's too easy, then maybe. I mean, we hear like, oh, they made this film and everyone had a great time, and you watch the film and you just think this is awful.
Yeah, but again, you're back to that thing of art in general. It's like I mean, like I said right at the start, this whole thing was an experiment. And again, that's something I learned from Alan Moore. He'd do these things where he'd be doing short stories in, Grey Shirt or some of the other ABC titles, where he would do this sort of 6-page story that's like, okay, let's run it all backwards. Let's do it from the bottom to the top. Let's just find different storytelling techniques. And somebody once said to me, he seems to put as much effort into that as he does into the big stuff. And I went, yeah, he does. And that's kind of, it's one of the things that I have found is that it's a process of growth. And, if you're honest about all this stuff and you're putting the effort in, then everything you do becomes the hardest thing you've ever done. So it's not like walking up a hill, it's like climbing up a sheer rock face. And I think that's inevitable. I mean, because if you're just going to churn it out, then you're in a rut, and it's not going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to a panel with Paul Pope yesterday, and he said almost exactly the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, no, I totally agree. In a sort of general comics term, Pete, I know you've done quite a lot of editing as well. Revolver, and you've been involved in sort of journalism as well. Which do you enjoy most, editing a comic or writing it?
Oh, writing it easily.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it demands something of you. I mean, if you're editing, then you're kind of enabling somebody else's talent rather than using your own. I mean, we need good editors. I'm not saying that, but for me personally, I've crossed the great divide. And I'm not.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you, and that's where I was going with that. I think we do need some people, somebody who knows what they're doing, sit down with some of the editors and say, "This is what you got to do." It's not you're not just a sausage factory handing something over a desk to someone else. There's a lot more to it. I mean, I know we talked previously about the comic relief comic that must have been herding cats times about 1,000. That one.
Oh, that was possibly the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Like you say, there were so many people involved in it. And there were people where you had to kind of sort of take them by the hand and lead them across the road, and then there were other people who would just give you this note perfect thing that you didn't have to do anything to.
Brilliant.
Again, that's just art in general, really.
Yeah. I mean, the UK's kind of done anthologies very well in the past. I mean, you did Revolver as well. I know you were involved in that. Do you think there's a space for it more than just 2000 AD on the shelf these days? Do you think the anthology has a possibility? I mean, this reminded me like of a modern EC comic in a way.
Yeah,
I got that taste.
Well, I think that, the history of horror comics has largely been a history of anthologies. But I mean, sometimes those anthologies would be one person. Bruce Jones used to do loads of stuff for Pacific
Eclipse.
One of them,
Absolutely.
in the back in the day. I think I mean, one of the things that I think comics in general has had, there's always been good artists. Never been a shortage of good artists. Good writers, different matter. So you kind of gotta grab them when you find them and then make them do work. I think the trouble
That's interesting.
is when you're on something like as long established as 2000 AD. I mean, I don't want to slag them off, but they once in a while, even now we'll come up with one really good strip, but it does, apart from the art on other things, and and I don't want to diss anybody who's writing Judge Dredd or whatever, but it doesn't make me sit up and pay attention.
Yeah.
Whereas Brink, I thought, was a great piece of work.
Okay. Yeah. I had a little rant about 2000 AD a couple of weeks ago, so yeah, we're all in agreement. All three of us.
But I think, do we need more anthologies? Yeah, we do. I mean, basically, we need more good comics.
Yeah, yeah.
And more varied comics. It's one of the things we tried to do with Revolver was, we did a horror special and we did a romance special, and it's just like, show the range, show what can be done.
Yeah, and like it's interesting that like they're two opposite sides of the coin, aren't they? Romance and horror. They're always the ones that like canonically.
Not in my house, mate.
Throughout. No, it's both the same thing for you, isn't it? But they're they're
I was talking to somebody the other day, and he was saying, that romance, well, not romance, but humor and horror are almost like two sides of the same coin. It's like it can go either way.
Yeah,
it could laugh or it could terrify you.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah,
a lot of our jokes terrify people.
Yeah.
It's all about that timing, isn't it? Kind of getting the build up and then
good point.
the delivering the punchline.
Yeah, and that's like an anthology's puzzle to solve anyway, isn't it? Because you have a tempo and you have a sort of line to hit, whether it be 10 pages, 6 pages. Did you set out with the stories that you've got in like Black Forest? Was it each story is going to be 10 pages, or was it the tale is going to be however many pages it's going to be?
Yeah, the latter. I mean, you're right. With short stories, very often, the shorter it is, the more likely it is just to be set up and punchline.
Yeah.
But so to do anything, a bit more involved, it needs to be longer. The interesting one was Our Lady of the Rats, because Shane, after I'd finished writing it, Shane got in touch with me and said, it needs to be longer. You need a couple more pages for this. And I'd been very conscious about, we've only got so much room and, keep it tight. And he was absolutely right, because basically I made it 2 pages longer. And the result was that the suspense, the tension just builds and builds. At least I think so. And it was that much more effective.
Yeah, because like when it's like holding your breath for just that little bit too long, isn't it?
Yeah.
And also, like when you got an artist like Mark Stafford on that one, his art's so. I need to get him on the show at some point, guys.
We chat to him because he's done
I'm glad we got him in there.
Yeah. Because he's prolific as well. I mean, in terms of like the artists, obviously. New faces you hadn't worked with before, as well as some more familiar. And I know that with anthology, artists drop out and stuff. But you must be pleased as punch with the final. Final.
Yeah, I am.
No, great.
Drop out. And Mark was one of the replacements, so that was good.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. That's fortuitous.
The accident.
Yeah.
But I mean, most of that was down to Shane. I mean, I knew Shane had a good pool of artists to draw on, so most of it was his decision. He found Rapha, but there were a couple of people that I said, and he wanted me to do something with Steve, just because. And but there were a couple of things I suggested. I suggested Glen for interview because he'd done a short story for me at Revolver that had a kind of it was a story that it wasn't there wasn't a great deal there, but Glen really did make the most of it and take it one step further. So it had a kind of similar vibe. In the interview was quite a simple story. I mean, it's 2 people talking. The fact that one of them is dead is so.
But also, like with Glen, like so many people will think of like the classic sort of preacher covers, or these over the top sort of grotesqueries that he does in his artwork sometimes. But this story's very real.
Sitting around a desk smoking. Yeah.
It's almost like refreshing, because it's like, oh, it's this Glen we're getting. Lovely.
Yeah.
Which just adds another layer to it. It's also a book that isn't seeped in darkness and shadows. One of the things I like about it is that there's colours on the pages. It's not
just all dark.
So many, especially with like small press and independent anthologies, they're all about the black ink, and we love a bit of black ink. Yeah. But was it a very conscious for you decision? Where like this horror is going to be, things will be hidden away, but you've also got to see things.
Yeah, even with the Little Red Riding Hood story, you pretty much see it all, don't you?
Yeah,
a little bit in the shadows, but yeah.
But also, we had to structure the thing so that when you needed a turnover, you could have the turnover. Yeah. So you need to decide before anybody actually starts drawing it, is this a left-hand start or is it a right-hand start? So
for horror, I think that's the most important.
That kind of ran through the whole process.
Yeah, I get you. Good stuff.
And obviously we've got a June reference in the AI one,
yes.
which we was loving that.
Sorry, what?
There was a June reference with me and Tony are big June fans.
We're massive June fans.
Peter, Peter, anytime someone does anything that even resembles June,
June,
says the month June, these two light up like a Christmas tree.
Butlerian Jihad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love that, man. Yeah.
Cool.
So in terms of like you then, your influences, for some of our lovely listeners who don't know your work and stuff, obviously they may know. Obviously, one of the big names at the moment is obviously Resident Alien, which shows one thing. Absolutely love the book's amazing. So there's all of that. But you as a writer, what are your influences, or what is your fuel? What keeps you going?
What keeps me going is probably just the act of writing. I like what it does to me. It's made me more thoughtful, maybe made me a bit more compassionate, all of that. As to influences, the short answer is everybody. I mean, you're as influenced as much by the things you don't like as the things you do. It's just you look at something and go, where the whole world is going, this stuff's great, and you just think, not for me. I'm going in the other direction.
That's so. We've never had that before. That's very true. An influence is something you don't want to be as much as the things you aspire to be.
But, I mean, other than that, I got influenced by really. I used to be a film critic, so there's all of that. And other than that, by people that I would consider to be, good writers, with many of whom I've had long conversations or directly worked with, as in Alan. So all of these things you learn from, and you've got to be willing to learn. I mean, I think one of the things about the artistic process is, there's a lovely story about Ray Bradbury. He was talking to somebody, and the guy was saying, well, all this talk about characters doing what they want to do. He's if I was writing, I wouldn't let them have that. I'd make the characters go where I wanted them to go. And Ray goes, oh, you mustn't do that. He said, that's called bad writing. And it's true. It's one of those things you got to go with the flow. The story knows where it wants to go. The characters know what they want to do. You just got to let them do it.
Yeah.
I get the sense of that with Resident Alien as well, man. I get a sense that you've got this great ensemble cast, and they're kind of leading their way through the book. I do love that. For those that aren't current with it, he's not the only alien on Earth now. Yeah. And there's a little band of them. And they're each got a personality. And I think one of the issues, you take them shopping, which I just love the fact that's just so naturalistic, and they're getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk a little bit about the cast and the creation of that?
The cast. Well, the thing was, like I say, the whole thing grew organically. I mean, I think when we started, we got given 24 pages. 3 8-page chunks in Dark Horse Presents, and we thought that might be all we'd get. But basically,
13 years later, incidentally.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Mike Richardson always believed in it. He always thought it was going to be a film or a TV show, and kind of because of that, it was like, okay, you can have another series and then another, and so that's how it worked. But one of the things that happened was that some of the supporting cast were in place, right at the start. So the second time around, you think, well, you need to expand that, because not only do you need a new villain and some red herrings, but you've also just kind of got to build the town. So it grew very slowly, but with each story we added more people. And then at the same time, you're kind of sort of, juggling balls of, the supporting cast that you've got, what's happened to them? Oh, they've fallen in love, or this other thing has happened. So by the time we got to, I don't know, the 6th or 7th series, there were some issues where there was far more of the supporting cast than there was of Harry.
Yeah.
But that was fine, because by then, hopefully the readership had got hooked on those guys as well as, as well as the lead,
Yeah. And it's for people who've only seen the TV series, there are differences. I'd say the people on TV are a lot better looking, for starters.
Younger.
And younger, yeah. and he's not an alien all the time. So for reading the comic, you see him as the reader, you see him as the alien, don't you?
You do, and it was a deliberate choice, because I thought with the comic that basically we could have done that. We could have gone back and forth, but I think it would have been confusing. I thought, this is the kind of thing you could do in a movie or a TV show, but here it would just be, possibly confusing. So let's not do it. Also, the strength of it was, I mean, it's a very quiet story in some ways.
Yeah.
I mean, we have had, 3 or 4 action sequences where all of a sudden there's a car chase and bullets flying and all the rest of it, and it really strikes you, because most of the time it doesn't happen. So all of a sudden you're turning the pages lickety split, and it's a real kind of whoa, something's going on. But most of the time it's quiet, and one of the things that is different about that is we've got an alien on every page.
Right.
So it's 2 people talking in the diner over a cup of coffee. One of them's an alien, So if that doesn't keep you happy, I don't know what will.
So you alluded to the fact there that you're doing it in like little. It's kind of what we call the Hellboy model almost, where it's like mini series, then a mini series. So it's almost like, are you doing like a mini series a year? Is that how it works?
Pretty much. I mean, it's one of those things that I think Steve's not a fast artist, and I'm not that fast a writer, so it just kind of worked out that way. And I think it had the effect of, it kept the quality up. The fact that I for one was taking about twice as long to do it as I had anything else that I'd ever worked on. But I think it shows. I think the quality shows through. And that kind of makes you think about the whole comics industry, really, that, maybe if people got paid a bit more money, they would be able to do better work.
When you're saying it's taken you twice as long, Pete, is that because you're kind of in the heads of all the characters? Is that part of it?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, but it's kind of, it's a kind of convoluted thing, because not only are you thinking about the current storyline and, the crime, whatever it may be, sort of all the details of that, you are also thinking about, the backstory and where it's going, we kind of solved some of the major story arcs at the end of issue 6, not issue 6, book 6.
Yeah.
So at that point, the Men in Black scenario kind of gets tied up, and Harry and Asta have at least mentioned the fact that they like each other. So in a way,
that was such a slow burn as well.
Yeah, well, it had to be. It really had to be. Well, all of it had to be a slow burn. But the thing is, it can't be a slow burn forever.
Right.
Yeah, that's a cheat. But I knew in a long time in advance, I have to tie this Men in Black thing up, in the next book or two, because beyond that, it's just unrealistic.
Okay, yeah.
Fair
What's
enough.
the forward plans for it? What have you got planned? Can you say anything? Or?
Well, the book that's coming out right this minute is the Book of Changes, which is book 9.
Yeah.
So that's got a couple more issues to come. And that's really the end of it, except that we've got a sort of, I can't remember, 26 pages, 28 pages finale, which will be out.
Okay.
Wow.
Because it's kind of almost there's a heist thing going on a little bit. I don't want to spoil it, but the cover of I think it's the third issue of the new series with it hovering over that building kind of gives you a little sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, there are developments in the whole sort of alien presence thing.
Yeah.
And so there is kind of an ending in the sense that it's sort of not necessarily neatly tied up with a bow, but you can see where it's all going. You can see what's coming.
Okay. Yeah, you leave it on another cliffhanger. I know you will. You'll do it again, won't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll ruin me again. Yeah, okay.
But 9 books and a finale that's an amazing run.
It is. Well, I never
Yeah.
thought it would happen that way, and largely it's because Mike had the faith that Hollywood would come calling one day, and they did. And so when the TV show was actually happening, I mean, I don't think anybody ever said it out loud, but it was that thing of sort of like, okay, we've got a bit more grace, we can do.
Okay.
A couple of books, and
Okay, yeah.
Then we're probably done.
Yeah. It was we absolutely love the TV series, man. We laugh at it all the time. And I hate children on television, but those two kids are cracking. They make me laugh every time.
Well, I think obviously, I mean, the thing wouldn't have happened without Alan. They'd auditioned something like 100 odd.
Oh, he's brilliant in it, isn't he? Very different, I know, from your character.
And Alan's presence made it all go in, a certain direction. But also I think what Chris Sheridan did, especially in the last season, I think was just masterful. He kind of he knew they weren't going to green light and a 5th series, so it was like, okay, these people are lying to me, so let's just prepare for the fact that it's going to end, and and do it so everybody's got a proper ending, and that's what
yeah. And I like the fact you're in it as well. I know I talked to you.
Yeah, no, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Jesus, man, I got to act opposite Linda Hamilton. I didn't think that was ever going to come up, but there you go. No, that was lovely, and I mean, I don't think it's all over. I think they will do another mini-series or a movie a couple of years.
It's such a popular cult hit as well. It was
the best ensemble group on television. I keep saying that. It's the nicest. You watch a TV show and you think, oh, I'm a bit bored with this character. Let's get back to this character. They're all brilliant. Everyone in that is great. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there will be more, and I certainly hope I get to do another cameo. But
yes,
brilliant.
I think you're the first guest who starred opposite Linda Hamilton. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's been a few years, but yeah,
in 10.5 years. Yeah.
Still holding out for that Arnie interview. But, he doesn't do comics, so
you don't know. Dan communicates in Arnie gifts with us. He doesn't speak a language.
No problemo.
Yeah, screenshots from Terminator 2 constantly.
But for those who've enjoyed the TV series and are perhaps listening to this, it's worth going back, because I have bought the first because you're doing sort of softback omnibuses, aren't you? I guess
you got one for me, Tony. That's what.
I was going to say, I've put so many people. Yeah, so many people I bought it for. It's such a great book to read, consistent. The thing with you and Steve, it's just solidly consistent all the way through.
Yeah, thank you.
Well,
there will be. I mean, the after the one-off finale comes out, then that and book 9 will be put together as a trade, and then a year down the line from that, they'll do a third omnibus, and the thing that gets everybody really excited is a couple of years down the line they'll do a big book of everything. So,
yeah.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, the one that you could drop on someone's head and kill them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the Bone one, isn't it? Bone's a bit like that.
Probably how I'll go. Putting that.
But for a creator like you, though, who's like has invested all of this in this series, and obviously it's coming to its end. And I know you've got the anthology, and you're going to keep making comics, obviously. But what is that feeling like? Because obviously you're still in it at the moment, but knowing there is a finish line at some point, how's that feel?
Well, I've kind of known. I mean, there was a point where I think, some people thought the TV show was never going to happen.
Yeah.
So it was quietly suggested that I might want to, think about wrapping this thing up, and that was
okay.
That was kind of like the end of book 6. But when it happened, when the TV show happened, then we got to do more. And the one thing that we hadn't kind of tied up neatly, and that people were absolutely clamoring for, was the Harry Astor relationship. So that kind of then led organically to the relationship, and then they have a child, and the consequences of having that child. So I've known that the end was coming for quite a while, but that's when you get there. Yeah, it is a bit kind of poignant. You've got to say goodbye to these people, but that's life.
Yeah.
Well,
they feel real to me, so they got to feel real to you.
Yeah, no, very much so.
Yeah. Do you think you'll sit down and you'll raise a glass to them one night and be like, thanks for all of that?
Well, I had somebody sent me an email a while ago and said, I'd quite like to hang out with these people in real life, and
I want to go to their diner.
That I feel that way about. So,
that's a massive compliment.
I'm good. I'm
it?
done.
That's a massive.
I'm still waiting for Steve Parkhouse to give me a piece of Resident Alien art. He's like, no, I've got to do something special. Still hasn't done.
There's a couple of covers there that would be great. Like the Britpop cover you did and stuff. That would be amazing to have on a wall.
Yeah. So what does the future? Obviously, Black Forest is out now.
Yeah.
And
go get that.
We'll be creeping everyone out this Halloween. Like if you see it on the shelves or wherever, or order it, folks, it's well worth it. It's a great horror anthology.
All I can say is I hope they don't do lady scarecrows.
There you go.
You'll be all over that tea.
Part 2, Pete. There you go.
Yeah.
I'll send you some reference.
Do you What's next? All right. I'm coming to the end, I hope, of writing a novel. So, which is hopefully I'm going to wrap it up within the next month or two. And then I've got to get an agent and then get a publisher and all of that. But it's done, so I'm pleased with that. And once that's actually out the door, then I try and get more comics off the ground.
Wow.
But the comics industry is really it's not that easy to deal with. I'll give you an example. One of the things with Resident Alien was we did a proposal, and I learned long ago that you're going to get more results if you go in the door with an artist. So Steve and I were working together on this from the start, and he did some. He basically did the opening scene, which is also the opening scene of the TV show, where the cops come to find Harry and he's in the fishing boat. And so we sent this in as finished art with the proposal. We sent it out to 4 publishers, and heard back from Dark Horse almost instantly. And and then Mike gets on the line, and we have a chat, and then we go. The other 3 publishers I never heard from.
Yeah.
Heard a word. Not like, no thanks.
But they're kicking themselves now.
Yeah.
Big time.
And that's the comics industry.
So frustrating. We've talked about this a lot. Yeah, communication's terrible, isn't it, for a lot of people?
Well, it's not just that. It's kind of, there seems to be a thing, and it's almost, I used to think it was an American thing, but now you're finding it here as well, that people just don't respond to emails, and they think that's all right. You know,
Yeah,
where I come from, it's bad manners.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So when Peter emails us, for God's sake, get back to him, lads.
Straight away.
Anyway, yes, I am talking with another artist about trying to get something off the ground, and
nice.
We're actually thinking about maybe trying to get it off the ground in Europe, just because you know, it's they might be easier to deal with.
We talked to Pat a lot about that, because obviously a lot of his business is done. Pat Mills, a lot of his business is done in France now. Yeah, massively. Yeah, I do feel, Pete, that you've got a Doctor Who in you, mate. I do.
That Doctor Who is, and I speak as somebody that saw the first episode live when it was interrupted by the Kennedy assassination. Is that I've always wanted it to be better than it is. So there's that. I mean, I'm sure I might be capable of doing a one-off thing. I mean, I think the Blink, the first week, I think it's probably the best episode of Doctor Who ever. And because he's kind of a guest star in it.
Yes, it's true. Yeah.
And so I don't know. I might be capable of doing one, but you know, dealing with TV people is hard, and also dealing with fandom is really hard. It's like the superhero world, where if you you're dealing with people who are obsessed with continuity that really doesn't matter. You know, you could do it
and have the internet. Yeah.
But so I don't know. If anybody ever asked me, I'd think about it, but nobody ever had.
Cool.
Well, we can't wait to see what's next. So, where can people find you online or get their hands on the book?
They can hopefully they can get their hands on the book through any good comic shop or directly from Scratch Comics. I'm going to be at Thought Bubble this year, and
nice.
Also doing a couple of signings at Forbidden Planet shops up north, but I don't know the details of those yet. Probably in December.
Nice.
And other than that, you can probably find me via Google. I don't have an online presence. So.
Oh, you are a wise man. Very wise. Very wise. So just a bit of advice: when you do get that big omnibus, don't put it on the top shelf, because we want more comics from you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Peter. This has been amazing.
It has been. Yeah.
Cheers, Pete.
How good was that?
Fantastic. Good stuff, man.
Such a lovely chat, and it was nice talking a bit of process and sort of writing. And Peter seems such a natural writer.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Totally.
Even to the point of there's no bullshit in terms of what's your process? Oh, well, I go for a coffee. You know, none of this. Remember when Orlando Bloom wrote that thing about what his day was? Oh, I wake up and I go for a extra light latte, blah, with vegan milk or something like that, and then. But it was just my process is I just think of something and I write it.
I find writing, the whole kind of coming up with stories and plot lines and stuff, the way people have trained their brains to do it, it's like a kind of a hidden art, something almost mystical. I mean, with kind of drawing and kind of the physical side of making a comic, there's a skill set that you can kind of go out and learn. You might not be good at it, but with writing, it seems everyone's got a different way of getting to that place. When you're in that zone.
Also, I mean, because it's not visual, for me, I don't know what it's like for you, Dan. It's the words are very clear in my head, and then once they're down on the page, just say dialogue, but once it's out of the head, I can put it down on a bit of paper and I'll walk away, and the words are then gone. Do you know what I mean? And so when I go back, I'm like, oh wow, I wrote that.
Loads of times.
Whereas with art, you're seeing it, aren't you? And then you just
That so many times I've written stuff and then I've gone back and reread the comic years later. And I wrote, Matt, fuck me, I wrote that. That's all right.
Yeah,
it's not completely shit.
When you go back to something, you just be like, oh, that's all right. Oh, what was I thinking when I wrote that? You know.
Did I get the imposter syndrome kicking in? Did I do that? Did I copy that from somewhere? I don't know. I can't. Doesn't seem like something. I wouldn't. Don't usually write good stuff.
This is readable. This isn't.
This is readable. Yeah.
But if people do want to read Black Forest,
yes, go to scratchcomics.co.uk and you can buy both the digital and the physical version.
Yeah.
The physicals, so the digital, the PDF, £3.75. That's so good. And issue 1 is £7.50 for the print.
Yeah,
it's really good. I really recommend get yourself a copy so it turns up in time for
Shane's doing
Halloween.
good work with Scratch Comics.
Yeah.
I mean, we've known Shane for quite a few years now, and just loves comics. So it's great to see that.
I've been tapping him up for a bit of marketing ideas this week. So good on Shane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What are you selling now, Dan? Yeah.
Well, more of that in the shout out section.
Okay.
Which I think is coming up.
You got any more sort of like enamel badges you want to shift, or like things you can hang from your keyring? Is that what you're doing? Like you gonna do like?
I didn't think about enamel badges. They're pretty good.
Like mini Dans. Enamel. I mean, I don't mean anything by enamel badges. I love enamel badges. I'm looking up at a cork board that's absolutely filled with them at the moment. So
I've been on trying to get for months now a Viper t-shirt, black with like holographic kind of like metal print writing.
Yeah.
And do you know how easy that is to get done? It's not very easy. I had one business where they said, yeah, we can do this. And I'd email them in saying, okay, how much for this? How many units? Wait a week. Nothing. Ring up the thing. Sometimes get to speak to someone, some not. And I go, oh, okay, we'll get you a price for on that. Weeks and weeks go by, chasing nothing. And I was so incensed at their business that I left a review on Google and said, like, I can't fucking I want to give these people money and do business with them, but I can't get anyone to respond to me, like, in a timely fashion.
Like, obviously, you must be tailor-made for, like, holographic stickers or foil stickers, something old school, you know.
I mean, that company's missing out on, like, tens of pounds. Yeah. I don't know what they can do.
You should do, like, the vinyl decals, so you could, like window stickers. You should do something like that.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be cool.
Well, I've got the small one with the Viper on the metallic reflective stuff, kind of quite 80s, so that's nice.
Yeah.
But one of the other things going on today, there were guests on last week's show, the Goblin Market.
Yeah. Yeah.
That had its first inaugural con today.
Yes. Yes. We're recording a bit early today because obviously Tony was in America. But let us know if you were there. Let us know because it sounded so awesome. To be fair.
I think I would have probably gone along. I had something this morning. Obviously, we've got this recording in this afternoon. I was thinking I would have gone along. It's not too far from me.
Yeah, yeah. We want to know about all these small little shows anywhere.
I'll tell you what also, it was Inkblot was this weekend as well. We've seen quite a few photos of people posting up pictures of cons they've been this weekend. So it must be quite the weekend for running a con, going to a con, which is fantastic. Yeah. And obviously next week we'll get a full report back from Tony about how he got on Baltimore. Which I can't wait, yeah.
And like obviously seeing a lot of creators and me and Dan going, that's great. I mean I will admit sometimes just a picture of like him next to obviously a legendary creator with their grey hair, and then shame on me that it will take me like half a day to realise who it is. But that's the joy of comics. We're just normal people. Yeah,
man. Like it's that whole thing of when you're in that con, you're a fucking superstar. But when you're at that bus stop, it's like unless a fan walks past, fuck me, look.
Dan, you're always a superstar. No matter what bus stop you go to.
Yeah, I had to catch the bus the other day. It's awful. Fucking hate it.
Was it one of the ones that smelled like sick and piss?
No, just generally it's miserable experience being on the bus. But anyway, enough about my griping about public transport.
Yeah. Let's do some. Have you got any shout outs this week?
I do, yes. Shall I go first?
Go for it.
Got Comicscene Yearbook 2026, Comicscene and Comicscene Collection. That's blasted past its goal. We've got another 10 days to go as you hear this. So do go check that one out. Grim Scary Tales, Echoes of the Damned. Dare you listen to the Echoes of the Damned? 30 plus pages of grisly comic book horror. We spoke about this on the Never Iron Anything podcast. That's blitzed for its target. We've got another 12 days to go on that. And very cheaply,
the Never Iron Anything podcast. Do you want to give a shout out to that?
Yeah, the Never Iron Anything podcast. We was on that, myself, Kieran, Keith Cumber, Cliff, and Dan Charnley. We spoke to Tony about horror comics, grim scary tales, and a whole lot more. So do go check that one out. Never Own Anything. And I've set up the pre-launch page for Viper Red Shadow, which is now, you can sign up for when that launches. It'll be live sometime in November. So I've been working on that for fucking months, trying to get it into the shape I want it to be, and I've finally got it there. So the if you're interested in that, do go click the link, and I'll notify you on the launch.
Nice. Now, I don't have any shout-outs normally. One that I noticed because it popped up on my Instagram feed is Saturday the 1st of November is Winchester Comics Fair.
Oh, there you go.
I know one of the creators there is our good pal Gareth Hopkins.
Bro.
So if you want to find out more, it's Winch Comics on Instagram is where I saw it, and they're currently just posting up all the different creators that are going to be on there. Lots of great sort of small press and indie names. So definitely, if you're in the area, Winchester, of course, is somewhere that we know, don't we, Dan?
Yes, we do.
We all
I was there relatively recently.
Yeah, because we all met up in there and had a sexy time in a hotel and a curry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in bed by like 10:30. Something it wasn't.
Yeah, because that's how we celebrate doing this for 10 years. But something else that we also do is we recommend comics. This is a shorter, sharper, leaner show this week, but that's what happens when we record early.
Treat him keen, keep him lean, something like that.
What? Keeping him lean. This is like a fitness.
Keep him lean, keep him keen.
Yeah. You can't like in terms of fitness, like turning the pages in comic that's not gonna do nothing for your forearms, is it?
No.
I wonder what.
I was going to say my fitness joke there, but I won't.
Why not? When's that ever stopped you?
Yeah, talk about fitting this dick in your mouth. That's what I was going to talk about. That's one for you, Tony.
Fucking hell. Oh, God.
Sorry about that, Vince.
On that bombshell. So there you go, folks. As you know, no matter how many of us are here for the particular week, it's always going to be filth.
It can can always get worse.
And high quality comic content. Speaking of comics, got some recommendations. Now, have you got one this week, Dan?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a Russian doll. It's got many in it.
Oh.
Well, not many in it.
Wow.
It's a horror anthology, so.
Oh, lovely. It's got many in it.
Yeah.
Some people call that a Dan.
Yeah. What?
Sorry. Anyway, see, we've had too much Haribo today. Mine's just a couple of sort of quick mentions because I'm currently sort of in deep with like some of the bigger omnibuses that sort of like I'm trying to get stuck into at the moment. So on the weekly roundup, I'm just sort of continuing. I haven't. There's no brand spoilers. There's no brand new amazing small press in this title at the moment. I'm just continuing to read more of the same. I did finish the first arc of Battle Beast.
I've only read the first issue and I'm fucking jonesing to get the whole thing.
Well, the trade will probably be out soon because it doesn't continue till March next year. So when I read it, it's like the next arc continues at the end of the start of.
A satisfying ending to the arc.
Yes. Well, I mean, absolutely. It's it's an absolutely. It doesn't end how you think it's going to end.
Okay.
It is. It's brutal. It's over the top violence. It's. The stakes are high. It's strange because the stakes are high, but also. It's not world-ending stakes. Do you know what I mean?
It doesn't always have to be like end of the universe.
Yeah, they're just characters in jeopardy or characters that are on the edge of death. And there was a turnaround at the end. There's two bits at the end that made me think, oh, I thought that was done with, but it isn't. That's one particular storyline. And then there was if there was any doubt, this is the Invincible universe. There's a reveal at the end, which is like, which works. It's interesting. it's obviously a reveal that has some impact because, like, the way that Kirkman writes it and the paces it out, and the reveals. Otley's he's brilliant with reveals. We know the action and we know he can do character, emotion and stuff like that. But in terms of like the camera, suddenly we got a full page of this character, and it's a big sci-fi space type things going on. And it was reveals of a character that I do not know because I don't read Invincible.
Okay.
I know their big doings, and they mention another character that I know is big doings in Invincible, but I haven't read it. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like I know this is a big thing. It's almost like knowing that knowing who Spider-Man is and you've never read a Spider-Man comic. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of like, oh, okay.
Do we know when it's set, Battle Beast? I can't recall. Is it set? Because in the timeline of Invincible, there's like the timeline goes on, but in this, I'm not sure if it's set after the events of Invincible or between.
It hasn't really said, I don't think. I've kind of always gone into it thinking it happens after. Because
I presume that, but
yeah,
there's no reference point to say that it has.
But and I'm going to ask you something off air about it, because part of the reveal, because of the nature of Invincible, I don't know what characters are alive, and because so many people die.
Yeah, no worries. So, we leave that till at the end.
Yeah, but it's an absolutely stellar gangbuster. 6 issues of violence, beautiful art, over the top. I mean, the character doesn't change, and yet there is an arc for them. You can see things happening. So I'm invested because we're only scratching the tip of the iceberg with who Battle Beast is, and I like that. I like that we go in there and it's like, oh, underneath it all, they're this, they were ravaged by this and all their background. No, fuck that. This dude's just a badass through the whole thing. If anything, in some ways, it muddies the waters even more about who they are. So yeah, I just thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was interesting for me reading it because in my reading experience was not having read all of Invincible. I've dipped in and out, but not like you, Dan. But to have a series like that is part of that universe still be an enjoyable experience standalone, and that the only thing that has me questioning, oh, do you need to read Invincible, was the last moment in this particular arc. Whether that matters or not, other people will know more than me. But
it's on Global, isn't Invincible? You should set yourself to do the reading challenge on Invincible because it just blasts through it.
Yeah, I could read it on Global. I know, obviously, I've been buying the issues weekly on Comicsology. I've been reading these. But definitely I'm going to double dip on the trade. It's just going to be glorious. And at some point they're going to do an oversized. Did they do that with Firepower? Yeah. Did they do Firepower as a bigger book? They've done an omnibus,
I'm not sure. Obviously they've done it with Invincible, but I'm not sure about Firepower. Maybe.
Yeah.
I can imagine if that's finishing now, there might be a trade for Christmas. Might be. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah, but
let me just quickly go on to a shopping site.
Yeah, other shopping sites are available other than the one that Dan may be going on, but maybe they're not. He could be going anywhere. Don't
want to get that.
But yeah, and my other book this week is from Skybound, and it was something I'm just getting back into.
Sorry to interrupt you, Vince. Wednesday, the 5th of November.
Oh, fucking hell! They're not. So that means
not fucking around.
The issue only has how long on the shelves? 3 weeks, or is that a month? That must be a month.
Then we're out in the trade.
Fucking hell! That's a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that obviously speaks to what they think the lifespan of an individual issue is.
Yeah. It says this title will be released on October 28th, 2025, and then free delivery on Wednesday. I've given the game away there.
Well, maybe not. Or maybe not. You don't know. It could be
other shopping sites are available.
Yeah.
Yeah. His master's voice.
Just got that. Yeah. So just my second one, which is just that I'm getting back into and reading it properly. and I know it's one that you got me the trade for, Dan. So I started with the trade, and I'm getting back into Transformers properly.
Brilliant.
The Energon universe, properly in the Energon universe, and it's been a real emotional affair. It's I mean, I I'm not all the way up to date, but I'm on that journey. And it's so impressive how that series is far better than you think it's going to be, and you think it's going to be good. Yeah. You think it's going to be good. I think we think it's going to be good purely because of the art chops and things like that. There's the gilded. Oh, well, it's going to look lovely.
But the writing,
it delivers on the emotion.
Yeah.
It's just
the trouble is everyone's got their favorite. Everyone had their favorite Transformer and stuff and characters, and this is like this kind of like it's got a line direct to your kind of heart or joy center when you start reading it, and when your one pops up, you're like, oh my god! But in this series that not everyone's going to stick around. They might get taken out, so you're like on tenterhooks.
Some and on both sides of the tracks, because there are some bad guys just within the first arc that get absolutely obliterated.
Yeah. So they're not coming back. They're dead.
Oh, they're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is. I mean, there were so many Transformers anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a huge cast, but so the choices of who lives and who dies is very interesting. But the human characters and the certain reveals. There was like in issue 1, there was a death of a human, and I thought, it was a powerful moment, because I thought, that's horrible. And then there was a reveal of who that character is, and that was a kick, because I thought, oh god,
because usually they're annoying, the human characters in Transformers. Well, not annoying, but I don't want to read this.
Yeah.
But in that they were done well.
They got real heart, and there's stakes, and got to say, Optimus Prime. If you don't write Optimus Prime right, get off Transformers. To be honest.
Yeah.
And he's the fucking daddy.
The boss.
He is the boss, but also the one that cares the most, and that's the thing that caught me.
Yeah.
That how much he cares, and purely from the DWJ pages, one thing that made me smile is there's a point where, and you'll probably know what I'm talking about, Optimus, because he gets his ass kicked through a lot of it. And I think he's got his arm is a cannon. He has a hand cannon at one point. And as he's moving, the sound effect of his moving is, the song. It says, the song, right? And as he's moving through the air, and all I could hear was, "You got the touch." Bow, bow, that bit in the fucking film where
Transformers the movie.
There's Optimus Prime being the best person that's ever been created in the history of life.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is amazing, because if you know it, what a brilliant. I mean, he obviously thought that was fun when he wrote it.
Yeah.
But to do that,
he's a massive fan of it, and you can tell through the writing. Yeah. The energy is infectious.
Yeah. But just that little, I loved that as a storytelling technique, though, because when that happened, the song played in my head, and those next couple of pages of action were like, this is just one of the best things.
This is the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's a lot of robots doing wrestling, because Daniel Warren Johnson also
does like his wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't like it all the time, but like I enjoy it for what it is. You know what I mean? That's his take.
Yeah. But I'm another thing that, because I think when it came to this Energon universe, I've sort of tiptoed more into the G.I.Joe side of it. At the moment, and I haven't really read much. I know you've been in deep on both series, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of a bit behind on Transformers, but I'm getting the singles on G.I.Joe.
Yeah. And every time I see a G.I. Joe cover, I do think, oh God, what's going on there? I love the covers on G.I. Joe, because the covers on G.I. Joe make me want to buy the books. And I kind of think, oh no, I can't buy that book. I've got to buy 5 books before, so I know what's going on.
The story's moving very quickly. Like, stuff happens. Like in Transformers, everything's pushing forwards all the time. It's not just here's the status quo, and after a story they go back to the status quo. Yeah, it's changing all the time.
There was a moment. And I didn't think it's these moments that catch you in comics. I love this about comics when it's done right. It's the moments that catch you that you didn't realise how invested, how you thought it was going to be cool. Because I will say, deep down, I don't think I was ever really too fussed about mixing the peanut butter and the chocolate that is Transformers and G.I. Joe. I was just
Same.
when
Yeah,
I'd sit in the
same.
background, I'd be like, whatever. I don't really want those two universes to coexist. But in the Transformers, obviously, there's a moment where Starscream absolutely obliterates a plane, and the pilots sort of punch out, and he catches one of them and kills them, I think. And the other pilot's going through the air, and then he hits a switch, and these wings pop out, and he flies away. And he flies almost towards the reader, towards the camera, and it zooms in, and it says Duke on his airsuit. And I thought, oh my god, that's Duke! I was like, oh my god!
Because that ties into the Duke issue 1, doesn't it? Where he's
exactly,
like,
and that's
this
the
is
bit...
what I saw, and they were like, no, what are you talking about?
And I didn't clock that because it just worked in the Duke issue. I enjoyed that Duke issue, and I just didn't think about it. And just
when you got that hit, it was like,
it's just the comics, you know. You know, for better and worse, these sort of the G.I. Joes and the Transformers, they're nostalgic mediums, aren't they? Or even things like Thundercats, He-Man, whatever it will be. So, and they're playing to an audience that is now, their hair is greying. Do you know what I mean?
You say that. My colleague at work, I got the first trade delivered, and I showed it to her, and I said, your son likes Transformers. And then she's been getting him the trades. I think she's asked me virtually once a week for the past month, when's the third trade coming out? So it's November.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So got a little involved.
I think that's interesting because Transformers, they've kept that alive in a lot of ways more than they have G.I. Joe.
Yeah. I'd agree.
Yeah. But yeah, I just need to catch up. And I think, my shelves are going to be, there's going to be Transformers, and then G.I. Joe, because they're just really enjoyable, and I haven't...
Just really fun reads.
Yeah.
Especially, I just feel like, for you and I, when we've kind of like grown up reading Transformers and G.I. Joe and the UK releases, it really just feels like
having the toys, do you know what I mean? Because a lot of the time, with these sort of books as well, you'll have a toy. Like, I had the toy of Quick Kick, and I thought he was the greatest character in the history of character. You know, when you have that moment with it. Yeah. And I thought, oh, he's amazing. And you never see him in anything. I saw him in the background of a G.I. Joe cartoon once, just running, and I was like, there he is. And so it means it's interesting in the modern comics when they're telling those, and a writer kills one off. Because with whether it be Transformers or whatever franchise it happens to be, when you kill... And to any writer out there, right? You obviously know the writers know what they're doing, but they must be aware that whenever you kill any character in those sort of franchises, you will be killing someone's favorite character of that, even if they're nothing, even if it's like no one. It was
some kid's favorite one.
Some kid's favorite one. Now, me and Dan could go on for hours about G.I. Joe. And stuff like that. I mean, we genuinely go backwards and forwards going, look, they've released these figures, because we're massive nerds. But
we were sharing that screenshot of one of the latest Transformers comics where another character from another 80s toy franchise pops up. And I was like,
that blew my fucking mind, actually. That blew my mind. And then it led to you theorising something.
It wasn't my theory. It was Kieran's theory.
It was Kieran's theory.
Yeah, which is fucking gold. I was like, that's mate.
But
that
the
works.
beauty of that is, and I think it's the power of these nostalgic sort of mediums. As soon as you did that, I immediately thought, I need to fucking catch up on this.
Yeah,
which is going to lead to me buying, reading older books.
Trying to get up to speed on it.
So it just goes to show, if you handle it with respect and handle it right, it can work. It can really work. And I think to do it with those properties is just, it warms my heart.
To incorporate M.A.S.K into Cobra is easy. It's Venom. Like, that's the bag. They can be like a subset of Cobra or something.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah, and obviously, like the vehicles and everything. Yeah,
vehicles transforming. It's all there.
It looks like M.A.S.K. What was it? M.A.S.K. Crusaders. And,
working overtime, fighting crime.
It looks like they're going to be there, and I think that is hugely exciting because them written how the Energon universe currently is being written by like Joshua Williamson and all of those guys is hugely exciting because I don't think I've seen that before. I know M.A.S.K has had I know M.A.S.K has had series and stuff like that, but to almost like legitimate It feels like
I'm quite happy to sort of see more of a kind of an adult or considered take on these things, this to have fun.
Yeah, but also
it's just fun and enjoyment, and
but also not too adult. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
because some of these
it's not kind of like everyone's getting fucking depressed and drinking and killing
G.I.Joe
everyone.
isn't fucking Splinter Cell, is it? Do you know what I mean? It's not anything like that. It's like okay, because that's not what we want. At the end of the day, we still want people shooting each other with lasers and
yeah, man, I'm taking it. Yeah.
Give me a dreadnought every time, which isn't a cocktail or a sex move.
No, it's going to be War. I think it's War of the Dreadnoughts coming up in G.I.Joe comic. So we'll see what that's about.
Yeah. I mean, I always really like the Dreadnoughts, and I will say another example of you love the figure, Thrasher, and the fucking car, that tank car.
Is it Thunder something?
Yeah.
Thunder.
Oh God, I used to.
It had like 2 miniguns on it, which
was
was
an amazing vehicle,
cool as fuck.
And Thrasher looked cool as fuck, the action figure. I thought he was amazing. And then I watched the cartoon. He's a snivelly piece of shit.
Absolute Burke. Yeah,
absolute Burke. And I thought, what? Because he blatantly looked like Mad Max, basically.
Yeah, I don't consider the cartoon too canon, as in what the character actually like. But
but if you do want to laugh, listeners, and you like some G.I. Joe, it plays on YouTube 24/7.
Yeah,
it goes on a loop. So if you just want some classic old cartoons, just do that. So there you go. That's me nerding out.
Nerding out,
with some great comics to read. And Dan, what have you got for us this week?
I've got a book that was gifted to me by Tom Curry many moons ago. It was a Junji Ito, Fragments of Horror. I was like, I'm going to save this for Halloween because that's what I'm going to do. And I read it over the week. And like all Junji, man, it's just very similar to Peter's book. Like you get these different. I think there's 6 stories in it, 6 or 7, and each one has a slightly different tone to it. Some are quite creepy. Some are kind of there's a kind of like heartwarming, not so much kind of like oh fucking hell, this is really dodgy. But they're great concepts throughout. And one that stuck with me is one called Red Turtleneck, where a young couple goes to see a fortune teller, and the fortune teller basically cracks onto the guy, and it kicks off with him walking around the city holding his head onto his shoulders, like what's going on with this guy. And basically the fortune teller sort of like seduces him, and when she's in bed with him sort of saying, I really like your head, and he's like, what, that's a weird thing to say. So she puts a strand of her hair around his neck and starts pulling. And he sort of pushes her off, but for the next couple of days, this cut around his neck gets worse and worse, and he has to hold his head on, and he wears a turtleneck to cover it. Yeah, and it starts with a white turtleneck, and as he's bleeding, it just goes red or black in the books. It's in black and white, and he goes to see his ex, and he's like, if I let go, my head's going to fall off. I've got to stay deadly still. He says, I can feel like my spine, like the noise of the bones touching each other. And if I move too quick, I'm gonna die. And he sort of goes to sit down to relax, and he slips, and his head comes away for a moment, and it's just like fucking hell. This is horrible, but it's a really good story. I mean, all the way throughout. I think you can actually get this on the manga app, which the Viz one, it's like £1.95 for a month's reading.
Wow, it's
ridiculous the amount of books on there. I really recommend giving that a go for a month.
Tom's using that. Is Tom using Viz at the moment?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. I've been reading free run on it, and all the stories throughout this are fucking really like, oh god, that's horrible. It's we talk about like the horror in the comics, and Junji Ito is a real kind of easy one to go to because his stories are inherently creepy. They're really horrible. It's in a good way. Like you really think, oh god, where's this going? That's horrible. Didn't see that coming. But a lot of fun. Yeah, that's Fragments of Horror by Junji Ito.
Wow.
And thanks Tom for sorting out me. I think it might have been my birthday or Christmas. I can't recall.
Yeah, he very kindly gifted me a Call of Cthulhu Japanese adaptation.
No,
which I've. I mean, that story in itself is a. You got to prepare yourself to read it, and so to a manga adaptation, I'm like, well, it's a beautiful looking book though. So, and we love you, Tom. You know that.
Cheers, Tom.
And cheers to you, lovely listeners who have been checking out this show. We certainly had a lot of fun talking to Peter.
Yes.
It gave Tony a bit of energy before he goes out for another day on the
back into the fray.
Yeah, once more back into the fray.
Into the fray.
And we will be back once more, like I say, with the Halloween episode. The music, the music will be a little bit different. The books may be a little bit spookier.
Can't wait.
But don't worry, it'll be the same old ACP crew.
I'm going to dress in spooky attire. I know that doesn't matter because it's an audio medium, but
please do. Please do. Shall we? Shall we do it? Shall we do it?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Tony's probably laughing his head, fucking hell, rolling his eyes or something as we've just said that, but that's what's happening.
But yes, so, and here's a little shout out to the listeners for our Halloween special. What do you want us to discuss for horror comics? Obviously, we've got some topic, we've got some ideas for things we're going to talk about. But we know a lot of you lovely listeners and comic creators out there listening to this particular episode or this show. A lot of you have made a lot of horror comics. So you've got ideas and so let us know before next week. We're not recording early, so don't worry. You've got plenty of time.
Take your time. Yeah.
So, and the way to there's several different ways you can get in touch with us to chuck us your question or thoughts or topics. You can get on the Slack group that we have, the Awesome Comics Podcast Slack community. There is a link in the Substack, and also Slack for those is basically like a messenger sort of service, and you can like a forum, isn't it, Dan? It's sort of like it's like Teams, that kind of thing. I know a lot.
There's different channels discussing different subjects, advice, crowdfunding, comics.
A lot of people use it for like business or work, and we just used it to talk comics. And there's a wonderful community of people on there. Lots of different channels, and lots of. We keep the conversation going on each episode that we talk about and what we've got to come. So join us there. Join the Substack as well. Just search for Awesome Comics Podcast on Substack, where we post up the episode and we put up artwork for like stuff that we've talked about on the individual episodes. And where else can they find us? Well, email awesomecomicspod@gmail.com. You can find us on social media at awesomecomicspod on Instagram, at the awesomepod on X. If you were listening to this, where did you do it? Perhaps you did it at awesomecomics.podbean.com. If you did, thank you very much. Likewise, if it was on Apple Podcasts, then subscribe, leave a review. Helps get the word out about the show. In all seriousness, the more you share, the more people listen to the show, the more this community grows. And we really do appreciate each and every share. And we are surprised at how many the reach of this show sometimes. And I know there's been a lot of people at Baltimore that have gone up to creators and said they heard, possibly heard them on the pod. Heard them on the pod. So, and that's what it's all about, paying it forward, getting people out, getting creators out there, people discovering comics, discovering their new creators. And that's what we love doing. And also we love reading our shitload of comics. So whether you heard us there on Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, Podnose, Podknife, what are the networks are we on, Dan?
Podmendicious.
What? Where the fuck did that come from? Right, listeners, just so you know, I looked at him on the screen and he looked down like he'd got it written down in front of him. So professional, said it so clearly. Did you just make that up?
No. Mendicious is a word I heard during the week, so I've noted it's not telling the truth or lying. That's what mendicious means. So try and work that into the vogue, because I thought that's going to be a funny word to say what podcast that's going to be.
They're being very mendicious.
Yes.
Why has it got the word men in it?
Because men lie.
Like that they do.
But, yeah.
Men are pigs. Anyway. Also, I tell you what won't make you look like a pig. That's if you go to acpgear.redbubble.com and buy some of our merch. We're going to be adding more stuff there all the time. Someone floated out, I think you said it, Dan, possibly doing some limited teas at some point.
Yes, that's a good idea.
We'll put on for a short space of time. Thank you to everyone that's bought anything so far. They do look rather good.
God, yeah. A lot of people wearing them in those photos. It's very interesting.
Yeah. And, there was a definite, in terms of the design, haven't put the logo all over everything. Like when we first sort of did some of these designs, there was a thinking, we've got to put the logo somewhere.
Yeah, don't.
But It's not about that. It's like if you
can wear it just if you like comics and say I read comics or I make comics or something.
So that's what these shirts are there for. Just to show. And if you get one, you really are supporting the show, and keeping the lights on and stuff. So we'll keep putting up some funny designs and all kinds of things, just to make you laugh or whatever, or just spread the love and joy of comics, which is what this show is all about. Speaking of which, where can they find us online, etc.? Dan, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Vanguard Comic, and you can read Vanguard at vanguardcomic.com.
And once again, Grim Scary Tales is up currently.
Yes, you can back that, and we've got a couple of weeks left on, about 10 days, I think, on that. Nice. And that's made us comics all done. I've sent the final proof to the guys, and it's ready to be printed.
Nice. And Viper, you're setting up is there going to be a pre-launch page? Is that
the pre-launch page is up, so you can click on that, and I'll notify you when that goes live.
Nice. So go look for that on Kickstarter. You can find me on social media at Jester Diablo. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. It's been another fun one. Hope you all, wherever you are in the world, we hope you're happy, healthy. It's a crazy world out there, but one thing that always makes sense is comics. No matter what comics you like, no matter what comics you make or what comics you read, if you like comics, you're all good with us. So keep having a great week. Let us know what we should be reading or checking out in the weeks ahead. And from all of us at ACP, no matter where we are in the world, we love you very much. And Tony can't stop me because he's in another time zone.
Tony loves you too.
He does, doesn't he? In some ways, some would say more than we do.
When we stop recording, Tony's like, "Oh, bloody love those listeners, I tell
you." It is positively oozing out of him, and he's gonna fucking kill us.
Fry me.
Oh dear! Have a brilliant week, guys. See you next week for some spooky shenanigans and probably a stupid voice from me when I do the intro.
Yeah, excellent. Love it.
So have a great week, and I guess what else should they do, Dan?
Stay awesome.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.